Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Joining me, Rob McLennan here. Going to talk about some racing here for the Saturday cards across the United States. Going to go a little different path. In recent weeks, I've talked about just a singular card, just as a big block. Kind of found that a little bit boring, a little bit tedious at times. So what I did is I just picked out a handful of races across the country, mostly just the stakes races with the 3-year-old prep starting today, and then a couple other ones I just wanted to talk about quickly. Let's start off at Aqueduct, the 6th, the Bucenda, $100,000, mile and 7 yards for 3-year-old fillies. I kind of got to the point where I didn't like Flip Cup, who I thought had a really easy trip going 3 wide against a 5-horse field in a restricted stake. I don't like Camille Claudio, the 4, coming off a sloppy win against a short field at Laurel. I thought Fleet of Gold came from Laurel and just did what she had to do, first time blinkers, first time Lasix, which is always a huge improvement. And so the horses that ended up intriguing me, obviously you have to have the 6, Alpaca Fine, Jacobson, Closer. It's just kind of a hard horse to leave out with his numbers being ridiculous as they are. But the horses I ended up wanting to use as price horses were Spanish Gold, Kettle Twist, and Derek's Girl. Just because I couldn't really decide on one of them, but I figured one of them was going to run a really good race. So Spanish Gold and Kettle Twist, I think, are going to be speed threats because there's not really a lot of speed in here. The inner on Aqueduct tends to get speedy at times. So Spanish Gold, you get Irad Ortiz here in third last time in a wide trip. Before that, you're in behind America, who turned out to be a pretty nice one, running it behind Stop Charging Maria last time out. So now second off the layoff, you get Pletcher. Why is he under maiden in a stake? It's confusing. I like confusing sometimes when you get the big barns doing it. That same logic applies to Kettle Twist. She was fifth to Alpaca Fine, and she was just wide, and she kind of looked like she tired a little bit. Now she comes back off 2 works, and again, he could have very easily found a first level allowance race for her. So I think that it's interesting that she shows up in here again, and I think at like a 12-to-1 price, she could have a play in the tries at least. The other horse is Derek's Girl. I know her numbers aren't that great, but she was third in the Tempted. She's been off a while, claimed out of Del Mar in the Jacobson barn. Jacobson off the layoff's not a huge issue for me, though he's only 15% and less than a 1 ROI, but you get David Cohn, and I think this is going to be your closer horse to pick up the pieces. The 8th race is the Jerome. Again, Noble Moon's going to be your deep closer. I picked him second just because I think that, again, there's not a lot of speed in here, and I think he might just need one. Not sure about Leah Giamariti. She's 0 for 16, over 61 days off. So I took Master Lightning again, Pletcher. This is probably going to be loose speed on the outside. Cornelio. Just to gallop around, and the other one I wanted to look at was Matsuzuki the 5, so I went 8-1-5 in the Jerome, the Grade 2 Kentucky Derby prep at Aqueduct. Moving on to Tampa Bay Downs. The third race is the $100,000 Pasco, 1-7 furlongs, 3-year-olds. Cool Cowboy is going to be your heavy favorite. I think you're going to see a lot of speed there. This is Dale Bennett, shipper from Hawthorne. He did run at Tampa last time and drew off to win by 3.5. But he was loose in the lead and loving it. And I don't think they're going to let him be like that today. You're going to get 3/4 Roy, and you're going to, it's depending on where Jordan Carlo shows up the 6th. Because he's entered in the Spectacular Bid and the Pasco, and I actually haven't been able to figure out which one he is in. So depending on what he does there, I kind of left him out of both just because I wasn't sure what to do with him. So I went with Harry's Holidays, my other horse in there. Mike Maker won an optional allowance race at Gulfstream last time out. Before that was second to Ichiban Warrior, who looks like an okay one. So I took Harry's Holidays, kind of a rallier in the Pasco. The next race I'm going to look at is the filly version of the Pasco at Tampa. It goes as the 9th. I got to find it here in my form. The Gasparilla, 100K, 7 furlongs, 3-year-old fillies. I thought this was a really wide open race. I don't like Nesso coming back off the turf, shipping back east. Goes to a 31% barn though, and that's a little scary. And you get blinkers on and all these great numbers, but she was so good on the turf, and that one race she ran against such bad horses on the dirt. So I'm hoping that I actually liked her a little bit in the juvenile fillies turf, but I'm hoping she gets speed today at too short of a price. So I went 7, Fast Betty Blue. This is a little bit of a rallier for Wayne Mogi. Second at Churchill last time out in a race where she kind of pressed the pace and was a little too close than she probably wanted to be, and still held on for second. Then the 10, you get Pletcher, was second last time out in the local prep in Keddy. I just think this is one that she broke a little slowly. She was 4 wide. She's going to be wide again here, but I think she's improving. And the other one is the 6 who won the local prep, and that is Sweet Dove, or My Sweet Dove, sorry. And she's going to be your speed threat, and she's the other one I wanted to use to try to beat Nesso in that the 9th at Tampa. Moving on to Miami and Gulfstream Park. Starting off with the second race, you get an optional 62.50, non-2 other than. It's a wide open race, and your favorite is Jamaican Smoke on the morning line. Jamaican Smoke's actually a mare that's been off since the Humana just off in May. Lots of really speed, but she's going to get some company in the front end. Harbor Breeze, maybe JEC, maybe Positively. So I think Jamaican Smoke is going to get some company, and she's been off a while, and it's just tough to bet affiliate that short of a price against the boys. Avenda Paseo just hasn't really been good enough for me. Navarez has been off too long. I don't like these 3-year-olds cutting back for guys that I don't really trust, and this horse really hasn't shown me that he can sprint, and his numbers really aren't that good anyways. So which leaves me with Bear Tough Tiger. For those of you who don't follow Woodbine, Essence Hitman is a monster, and has been for past. He's getting kind of old now. So you go into the races where it says Bear Tough Tiger got beat by Essence Hitman. Phil's Dream's now a Grade 1 winner in the Arctic. This horse was claimed, and he likes to sit just off the pace. So the day he runs bad, he gets beat 5th, beaten 9. He's a little too close to the pace in the Bold Venture. Last time on the Kennedy Road, he gets absolutely in the worst trip possible. He gets away on the outside. Jesse Campbell riding him for the first time just didn't seem to fit him. But I know this is his first dirt start. He's always been on the turf. He's always been at Woodbine or Presque Isle on the synthetic. But I think he can switch it over a little bit. I think he's going to be your first run horse. Sitting on the outside, you're going to get like $10 on him, and I really kind of like him in this spot to get the W. The third is the $100,000 Old Hat Stakes. 3-year-old filly's going 6. 6-horse field. Sweet Whiskey for Pletcher is going to be your main contender. I really don't like Sensational Bunny. The 2, this is a Woodbine Invader for Cassie. Excuse me. Oh, I'm one of the worst people ever for sneezes and hiccups and, I don't know, something genetic. Sweet Whiskey's got early speed, has been off since the matron at Belmont, so I like her a little bit. I think Aurelia's Bell is going to rally up for 3rd. She's the 3-horse. And Milan is probably the other one that's going to be in it, but I do like Sweet Whiskey to win it because I think the layoff's going to have helped her. She ran really well first time out, and I really just think that Sensational Bunny's not fast enough to go with her early. Moving on, we're going to look quickly at the 8th at Gulfstream. It's a maiden special. Again, you get all these great maiden specials at Gulfstream here in the first part of January with some Derby contenders for 3-year-olds. We saw Commissioner in the first level allowance on Friday run a really good race, along with the runner-up who had a really tough trip, though they didn't run that high of a buyer, as I found out later on Twitter. The 8th at Gulfstream is a mile. You get the Pletcher First or the 1 Constitution. $400,000 yearling, good works, Pletcher First year, you get JJ. I don't know what more you can ask for, but it is a debut going a mile. It is Tapit, you get the route breeding, that's awesome. But if the horse is going to get beat, you got to either take a stand and say this horse is going to be your easy winner at 6-5 and say, okay, I'll take that. Or you take a shot, and 2 horses I would take a shot with are I'm Better Than Good for Kenny McPeak. Horse made up a whole bunch of ground at Churchill behind Tapiture, who ended up coming back and winning the Kentucky Jockey Club. Tapiture ran 3rd that day, and this horse had a bad trip, pinched back 9 wide. Like, these comments are just gaudy. Horse worked, came back, and I think Ken McPeak's actually not bad at getting 3-year-olds ready to go. And then you get the 9, Buck Magic, who was set, is actually still a maiden, or sorry, they're all maiden, that was a stupid comment, but was still a maiden when he ran 4th in the Kentucky Jockey Club after having a wide trip, was 2nd in a maiden before that at Churchill. I think this is a horse that's just going to be running at the end. The 9th is the Marshall's River, mile and 16th on the turf. I don't really like deep closers at Gulfstream on the turf, and I don't like to be outside, so I don't like Somali Lemonade, and I thought there was a whole bunch of speed in here. I almost went to Viva Raffaella, but I talked myself out of that, so I ended up with Naples Bay closing. Dean Allens Kittens, the 7. Ken and Sarah Ramsey, Chad Brown, the 7, the probable favorite. Used her, and then the 8 Poetic Kid, because I think she's run 4 really good races in a row in the Midwest for Catalano against good company, and now gets into the stakes company for the first time, and she's going to be kind of mid-pack in the 2-path, and I'm hoping she gets the trip. The 10th is a spectacular bid, 6 furlongs, 3-year-old Colts. You're either, in my mind, going Trailblaze, who ran a 92 buyer first out for Pletcher at Aqueduct, beating Endowment Manager, or you're taking somebody else who's going to close in, like CZ, who beat Endowment Manager at Gulfstream next time out. But I thought Trailblaze was way more visually impressive, so I think that's where I would end up going, but he's not going to be very much of a price, and that's kind of unexciting to me. But other than that, I thought that race was another race that's set up for somebody to sit just off it like Trailblaze will. That just leaves Santa Anita. The second is the Santa Ynez 4-horse field. It's really unexciting. I'm still alive in Showviver. I took Crushed Velvet in here, and that's my pick in here. I think she's just going to be much the best here. Sitting on the outside, Baffert, Garcia. What more can you ask for? But you're going to get 2 to 5. The third, Midnight Transfer, was actually my Derby horse in 2011. When he ran third in the San Felipe, I was just like, oh my god, this horse can't do anything wrong. He obviously got hurt in the Santa Anita Derby. Came back off the long layoff and did win. He's run well off the layoff before, and that's always been a good sign for him. Carla Gaines, even though her numbers aren't that great, this horse does run well fresh, and I think he gets a good setup in here. So he's my pick, but again, you're not getting a huge price. The fun race of the day that I kind of wanted to mention is the 5th at Santa Anita, Maiden Special in 7/8, and it's a 9-horse field that's going to be wide open. Just to run through it quickly, the 1 is a first-time starter for Denise Brewer, 0 for trainer, but bullet works, 58-3, 12-4. 2 is Peter Miller, firster, 22% trainer, $100,000 yearling. The 3 is Julio Kanani, horse that's run second 3 times in a row for Maiden Special. The 4 is Baffert, 4th-time starter, 2 seconds and a third, one of them to Tappet Rich, both of them going to ride the ground. The 5 is a Baffert firster, $320,000 yearling. 3 works under 111-3, a 59-2, and this is just the typical Baffert. Light up the work tab. Gary Stevens gets on. You don't see a lot of Stevens for Baffert. Only 11 starts in 2013, 2014. So this could be the real deal here. Los Barachos made up a bunch of ground late. This was really fast worker for Mandela earlier, and that's not very usual. Comes back with 3 kind of slower works, now stretches out a little bit, and you go from Gustavo Nicholas to Mike Smith. After making up some ground in the debut, I think this horse could be a factor for 4th. The 7 is a Hoffman Speedster that gets first-time Lasix. 8 is a horse that came from Peru, ran 4th first time out. First-time Lasix, Peter Miller. It's interesting Miller ended up with this horse in this spot. That kind of made me a little scared about this horse, and you get Maldonado. Espinoza rides the other one, not sure what that means. And the 9 is a Baffert firster. You get Talamo. It's probably the slower of the 2, $300,000 yearling, but this is Pegram. Not as fast works, but there are a couple of bullets in there still, and it's still Baffert first time out. So go whatever way you want. I ended up writing down that I wanted to go 5 Baron with the 8 El Nino Terrible, and then the 2 and 6, which is the other Miller firster and Mandela's closer. But that's a wide open race and actually a really fun one that I'm kind of looking forward to. The only other race I wanted to mention quickly is the San Gabriel, mile and 1/8 on the turf. I just thought it was a 3-horse race. I thought Fire with Fire was an interesting long shot to consider. Dubai UXYZ was kind of an interesting one to sit just off the pace, but I can't bet Brice Blanc as much as he is kind of a hard money rider. And just Geronimo is going to be your big closer. He won this race last year. Can't go wrong with him. That closes out my card here. Other than that, just looking back, I was 14-2 last week on the spread in the NFL. That puts me I was in my top 5 picks. I've been 13-2 over the last 3 weeks. Looking forward to this weekend's 4 games. I don't really have an opinion on the Chiefs-Colts game, but I would probably end up taking the Chiefs and the points as I stand. I would take the fact that I think Breeze has a really good game tomorrow, even without Pierre Thomas. I'm going to take the Saints just because I don't think the Eagles are ready to win. I like San Fran to beat Green Bay just because I think that Green Bay is a little bit suspect in some areas, and they haven't really played this San Francisco defense since week 1. They haven't seen, look at what they've played recently. They played the Bears. They played Dallas. They played Vikings late. They haven't played a real strong defense late, and that just leaves the other game where I think San Diego keeps it close, but I think Cincy wins it, but San Diego covers in a freezing cold game. San Diego, Philip Rivers actually has a really good record in the cold if you actually go look it up, but I think that Dalton's going to have a really crummy first half, and he might pull it out in the second half, but I think that Rivers keeps this game close, and I will take San Diego with the points, and I think that if this is, it's going to be 28-27, and I kind of want San Diego to win, but I think Cincy does win. That's it for me here for this Saturday morning. The Canada game obviously starts in a little bit. You got Sweden, Russia going on right now. Other than that, enjoy the World Juniors. I'm definitely going to be back Tuesday with the Canada roster announcement, talking hockey, and then other than that, Gonna do some cool things in this forward with a couple of buddies doing some sports stuff, and I'll try to keep up with the racing stuff. But other than that, thanks for tuning in. Have a good day of racing, and we'll see you soon.